Hi class, this is going to be a short lecture on essay 3 on the metamorphosis. So let me go ahead and turn to Canvas. Okay, so essay 3 is going to be a shorter essay. It's only 2 to 3 pages. And the reason for that is I just want you to focus on your own interpretation. I don't want any outside sources. In fact, I definitely don't use any outside sources. I just want your interpretation and analysis of the novella. It'll be due on May 5th, and it's 50 points because, again, it's a very short essay. As far as the prompt, in a 2 to 3 page essay, critically analyze Kafka's The Metamorphosis. Create a thesis that argues the purpose and meaning of the novella, as well as how the writer uses plot, theme, characterization, symbolism, and/or historical, cultural significance to create purpose and meaning. Now, I know these are a lot of things. You do not have to write about all of them. Choose one, choose more than one, it's just whatever you want. I literally just want you to write the paper that you want to write about the novella. So again, you don't have to write about all these things, just whichever ones you want. If there's something not listed here, feel free to go crazy with it. And then in your conclusion, I want you to specifically talk about how this novella is building your understanding of existentialism. Remember, we've been studying existentialism from the beginning of the class. So it basically is a concept that happened post-World War I with the Age of Disillusionment when we read The Wasteland, this idea of what is my purpose? Who am I? Why am I here? Is there a God? Is there meaning to life? This idea of nihilism, right? That life is meaningless. All of those things kind of came out of post-war society. And, post-World War II, we had the Lost Generation, Howl. Again, these questions about not just purpose, but also like questioning progress, right? Industrial progress, labor progress, all of these things became more complicated, right? The progress of suburban life, all of these things are wrapped up in this existentialist kind of idea. And again, existentialism can't be really defined because it depends on the person. So I'm really curious about how you look at existentialism now after reading Metamorphosis. Also, for the works cited page, you're only going to be citing the Metamorphosis. So you're only going to need one thing to cite there. As far as ideas, please feel free to use any of the lectures or the notes on Metamorphosis that I posted. These are fair game. You do not need to cite me or source me or whatever. You can use these ideas in your essay. Totally fair game. Anything you wrote for the week 13 discussion post, you can literally copy and paste your discussion post that you did, and you can use it in your essay. I have no problem with that. If you want to develop it, whatever you want. The week 14 discussion post is really based upon the essay. So it's kind of getting you thinking about your ideas of like what concepts or topics from the novella do you want to talk about in an essay, and again, defining existentialism in your own terms. So really thinking about that. And remember, if you look back at any of the concepts from, the 3 parts of Metamorphosis, I talked about how everything is a metaphor for something else. And so if you want to, in your essay, explore the idea of Gregor's state as a bug as a metaphor for depression, or a metaphor for disability, or a metaphor for the worker, right? You could do that. If you want to talk about Greet and her kind of growing coming of age story as an artist or as a young woman, and what that means, like through a feminist perspective, you can totally look at it that way. Again, you don't need to source anybody. It's just your perspective. You know enough about some of these theories now that I think you can apply your own ideas. Or if you want to look at the power struggle in the story between the family as a reflection of a higher struggle that's going on in society or in the workforce. If you want to look at it through a Marxist perspective and talk about the hierarchies of power going on, the hierarchy of labor, the value of labor, the way that workers are used, abused, and thrown away, literally however you want to look at it. If you want to look at it from a more modern perspective and compare it to stuff that's going on today, you can do that. If you want to look at it as Kafka's own existential crisis in a novel, you can talk about that too. So literally fair game. I want you to feel free to write about what you want. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. All right, thanks.